Kleptocracy, also known as thievocracy, originates from the Greek words for thief and power or rule. It represents a type of corrupt government where the leaders, known as kleptocrats, exploit their political power to illegitimately seize the nation's wealth, often by diverting or embezzling public funds to benefit themselves rather than the overall populace. Notably, these acts of large-scale theft often go unannounced, unapologized, and unpunished. Kleptocracy is not the same as plutocracy, where the richest rule, or oligarchy, which is ruled by an elite few. In kleptocratic systems, politicians secretly amass wealth outside of legal confines through various illegal practices like briberies, kickbacks, or favoritism from corporations. Additionally, anticipating a potential loss of power, kleptocrats often move considerable portions of their illicit profits to foreign locations. Kleptocracy, first explicitly named as such in an 1819 publication called Indicator, is usually tied to autocratic and nepotistic regimes, such as dictatorships, oligarchies, or military juntas where monitoring or control by external entities is restricted or non-existent. Yet, it's not uncommon to see kleptocracy even in liberal democracies rife with crony capitalism, where kleptocrats control both public fund allocation and dissemination. Leaders in a kleptocratic government often view their nation's treasury as their personal bank, splurging on luxury items or extravagances as they please. They often store the lawlessly obtained funds in anonymous bank accounts abroad, ensuring their financial security in case they lose power. Kleptocracy is predominantly found in developing or collapsing nations heavily dependent on natural resources for trade. In developing countries, extensive reliance on export earnings creates conditions conducive to illicit siphoning of funds, inadvertently leading to wealth accumulation by the elite. In contrast, collapsing nations usually rely on imports, often striking deals with foreign entities to extend their faltering status quo, thereby fostering kleptocracy. States that engage in predatory warfare or exploitation of their own citizenry have been criticized throughout history, as per the observations of noted historian Arnold Toynbee about the Roman Empire. The 21st century sees a more grand-scale and sophisticated form of such exploitation termed as kleptocracy. This system, deeply embedded in global finance, thrives on money laundering and is served by the world's leading banks and financial experts. The International Monetary Fund posits that such illicit operations may have constituted 5% of the global economy in 1998. Kleptocrats launder their ill-gotten wealth to protect it from domestic uncertainties and competitive kleptocratic rivals, ultimately securing it within more stable regions for personal use, to prop up activities in their homeland or to aid regime initiatives overseas. The openness of Western countries is exploited by kleptocrats who transfer funds for money laundering and asset securing. Recent reports suggest enormous amounts of wealth, adding up to trillions of dollars, leaving developing nations each year, with kleptocracies like Russia and China identified as major contributors. This kleptocratic financial system operates in 4 primary steps: creation of anonymous shell companies to hide funds' origin and ownership, illegal transfer of funds into the Western financial system, completion of financial transactions in Western countries, and subsequent illegal resale. Referred to as money laundering, Investopedia reported luxury real estate purchases are a favored method for Russian and Chinese kleptocrats. The funds laundered this way may also be used for reputation laundering, hiring PR firms to curate a positive image and lawyers to suppress scrutiny of their political alliances and wealth sources. A 2011 study by the World Bank identified the United States as a major victim of illegal money laundering schemes, with the Treasury Department estimating annual money laundering operations to be worth $300 billion. This kleptocratic system thrives in America, exploiting its liberal economic structure. The narrative centers on the theme of kleptocracy or theft by those in power. This occurs when high-ranking government officials, together with a small group of exceptionally wealthy individuals or families, amass vast wealth by exploiting political favors, specific laws, monopolies, tax breaks, government intervention, subsidies, or outright corruption. This system, sometimes known as crony capitalism, is not beneficial for the welfare of a country's economy, politics, or civil liberties. Kleptocratic governance drastically reduces foreign investment opportunities, significantly weakens domestic markets, and hinders cross-border trading. When kleptocrats divert money from citizen taxes for personal gain or engage in money laundering, It significantly deteriorates living standards. Resources allocated for public infrastructures like hospitals, schools, roads, and parks are ill-spent, impacting negatively the citizens' quality of life. Further, this type of illicit elite fundamentally undermines democracy or any other form of government. The political landscape of Russia, with President Vladimir Putin at its helm, is often portrayed as a mafia state. Transparency International, a German anti-corruption NGO in 2004, identified 10 leaders who indulged in self-enrichment over the preceding 2 decades. Not necessarily the most corrupt, but including notable figures like former Nigerian head of state Sani Abacha and former Ukrainian Prime Minister Pavlo Lazarenko. The term narco-kleptocracy depicts societies where drug criminals have significant control over state governance. A prime example was Manuel Noriega's regime in Panama. In 2020, U.S. authorities charged Nicolás Maduro, president of Venezuela, along with several prominent officials, with drug trafficking.